He blindsided her with a divorce after 25 years, lied about losing his job, secretly built a house with his mistress, and used her money to do it. What he didn't know, I was listening, watching, digging, and I ruined his life from the inside out. Job, house, marriage, reputation. Gone. If you've ever wanted justice for someone who couldn't fight for themselves, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and comment below the most satisfying revenge story you've ever heard. Because today, justice isn't just served, it's meticulously delivered. There's a special kind of rage that builds when someone you love is broken, not just heartbroken, but hollowed out by betrayal. That's what happened to Eileen. To me, she was more than just my mom's childhood best friend. She was like family, the kind of woman who gave the warmest hugs, always remembered birthdays, and called me her bonus kid. And about 5 years ago, her world imploded. Her husband, Jeff, after 25 years of marriage, simply came home one day and said, "I want a divorce." No warning, no fight, no talk of therapy. Just done. What followed was a slow-motion train wreck. Eileen spiraled, drinking too much, battling depression, losing weight, losing herself. My mom and a few close friends finally convinced her to move back home and check into rehab. I just moved back into town myself and offered a house sit while she was away. I thought I was just helping out. I had no idea I was about to discover the truth or that I would become the architect of Jeff's destruction. When I visited Eileen in rehab, she finally opened up about what happened. It didn't sit right with me. Not just emotionally, logically, it didn't add up. Jeff had supposedly been fired a year before the divorce. But instead of job hunting, which he'd always obsessed over, he just took a break. They lived off Eileen's trust fund, left to her by her parents. And then, out of nowhere, he ended things and moved across the country to a state where he had no family, no job, no connections. He even said, and this really pissed me off, that he was tired of being with a woman like Eileen, and that her mother was right about her. Her mother, mind you, was an emotionally abusive narcissist who spent Eileen's whole life making her feel worthless. Jeff knew that. He weaponized that pain. That's when I stopped giving him the benefit of the doubt. Something was rotten, and I wasn't going to let it slide. One day, Eileen asked me to find a box of Jeff stuff. She said the details were in an email and handed me the password to her laptop. What Jeff didn't realize, or maybe just forgot, is that he had set up his old email on that computer. One wrong click, and suddenly I was in his inbox. At first, it seemed mostly abandoned, but tucked in a folder labeled receipts. I found it, a dating site confirmation. The timing? A year before he got fired. And then a password reset email for a new email account. Ding, ding, ding. I was starting to build a timeline. He didn't fall out of love. He had an exit plan. I was still in law school at the time, doing a residency that gave me access to Lexis, a legal database where you can search public records, property deeds, financial filings, and more. So I started digging. What I found, Jeff had been cheating for years. His mistress, an executive assistant, had purchased land in a rich suburb before the divorce was even filed. No mortgage, no loan, just cash. Jeff's cash, Eileen's trust fund cash. And then I found a jackpot, a quitclaim deed filed just 5 weeks after the divorce. The property now listed Jeff and the mistress as co-owners. They were building a dream home with stolen money and lies. Now I was playing with fire. I wanted into Jeff's new email, but I didn't want to alert him. Then I had an idea. In the email app, there was a notes feature, and Jeff, being the digital genius he was, had saved passwords in those notes. Most were junk, but a few, game changers. Dating site password, Netflix, Twitter. Bingo. I guess he might have reused that password on the new email. I was right. The new email was an all-access pass into his twisted second life. Emails confirmed. He quit his job, never got fired, lied to avoid paying alimony. He and the mistress? Married. Construction plans on their new house, including emails to a contractor changing a sunroom design. Emails from a boat inspector. A suspiciously clean report. But other messages revealed serious problems. A leak, mold, engine issues. He sold that boat, by the way. And most deliciously, flirty emails with a third woman, not the mistress. A new one. Their shared calendar showed when a new wife was out of town, the same nights he went out with his third woman. This wasn't just cheating. This was character assassination of a man who once pretended to be a loving husband. I didn't feel a burning rage. It was colder than that. Focused. Clinical. He broke Eileen. Now I was going to break everything he touched. First stop, the boat. I emailed the buyers copies of Jeff's repair conversations and a clean inspection report. 5 months later, I checked the county court records. Lawsuit filed. Buyers versus Jeff, broker and inspector. Boom. Next, the dream house. I anonymously tipped off the county building inspector about code issues in the sunroom. Turns out the sunroom was fine, but the attached workshop, not in the original permits. The kicker? The bathroom in that workshop was illegally connected to the septic system, which wasn't rated for that size. They had to rip the whole thing down. Paid fines. Faced delays. That dream home turned into a money pit. Now, the marriage. I created an anonymous email account and messaged Jeff's wife, not with direct accusations, but with concern. I mentioned a few dates Jeff spent with another woman. Dates I pulled from their shared calendar, lining up with the wife's out-of-town trips. Subtle, believable, poisonous. At this point, I couldn't figure out how to get him. Fired. But sometimes the universe finishes the work for you. A year or so passed. Life moved on. Eileen got better. Stronger. Then one day, she called me breathless, laughing in disbelief. A mutual friend had reconnected with Jeff and spilled the tea. Apparently, the other woman Jeff had been flirting with, she was his assistant at his new job. His brother-in-law was his boss. His wife, already insecure about the fact that their relationship had started as an affair, got my email and didn't believe his denials. She divorced him. The brother-in-law fired him. The dream house, unfinished and sold at a loss. Jeff's new beginning collapsed into rubble, financial, emotional, and social. And all he had left was a moldy boat and a broken reputation. I wasn't done, though. I admit it. I got petty. I threw away the box of Jeff's personal photos. Told Eileen it got lost. Signed both his email accounts up for hundreds of newsletters and spam. Logged into his Netflix. Deleted his entire watch list. Took over his Twitter. Followed adult accounts. Retweeted them. Deleted his follow list. Was it mature? No. Was it satisfying? Oh, absolutely. I never told Eileen what I did, and I won't. She deserves the peace she's finally found. But I'll tell you this. I didn't do this out of hatred. I did it because some people weaponize love. They manipulate, exploit, and discard, and they count on no one standing up to them. Well, this time, someone did. So, what do you think? Was it justified? If you've ever seen karma served ice cold, or wish you had the nerve to pull off something like this, hit that like button, subscribe for more real-life revenge stories, and drop a comment telling me, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? We read everything. And who knows, your story might even make it into a future video. Until then, stay sharp and never underestimate the quiet ones.